Welcome back to Vincent and the Grenadines, and it seems we have sorted our problem that we were having with the live feed this morning.
Yeah, Kieran.
So before we took the break, we were discussing the Grant Connell criticizing radio station commentary. For those who are just joining us, Connell criticized. Well, he didn't name the radio station, but he said radio station commentary on the case involving a 2 or 3 year old child being, I don't want to say strangled, but it suggests that they were being strangled.
Well, tortured. What you prefer, tortured?
Abused. They were being abused. And he was saying that they seem to have a lot of influence. No, I was saying, like, Connell has been my lawyer, and he good partner of mine. But everybody knows that he's known for grandstanding. Once a case has media attention, he's going to say something that could land him in the media cycle. Because this doesn't make any sense to me. If it is that a radio station is giving false commentary, then that is a whole other conversation in itself. But if you're commenting, you're interviewing the father in the case, you're speaking about what you saw, giving your opinion on how it should be dealt with, I don't see the issue here. The issue that I have is with the Vincentian newspaper that I voiced yesterday, and the fact that the editor let that layout go to print, where the child's face is the face that we're seeing on the back page of the newspaper. What I am happy to see is the picture of the
mother.
The mother here, as we see in Eyewitness News. And if you didn't hear me earlier, Candace John of Vermont.
And you're shouting in my ears.
Pleaded guilty to the charge that on January 20th at Vermont, having charge or care of a juvenile, she did willfully ill-treat her in a manner likely to cause her unlikely suffering. And she did what? She pleaded guilty. What else was there for to plead?
That's what I'm going to ask you. What else was she going to do?
The video, right? I mean, her face wasn't in the video, but the video is there. And everybody already expressed to discuss it. Even without radio station commentary, it made its rounds on social media. Mm-hmm. And people in the community would have known who she is. And listen,
did they say the age? Was her age ever disclosed though?
Not in this story, but she is 25 or 26, I understand.
Okay.
But if we put she under the jail, because if it's one person I don't have empathy for, is this person.
Yeah, I do share your sentiments with regards to the back page. I was taken aback because I would normally buy my newspapers on a Saturday morning, sit down and read them, But the last thing that I expected to see at the back of the Vincentian was the picture of the child. I mean, the thing of it is that I personally did not look at the video because I did not need to see the graphic image I didn't need for that image of what was happening to that child to stay with me, right? I also did not necessarily need to know what the child looked like. What it is that I took solace in is that the video was drawn to the attention of the police and the mother was subsequently charged, right? So to bring the innocent, the child is already out there in the media for persons who chose to look at the video. And for somebody like me who did not see it, I did not need to put a face to the victim in this situation. So I really was disheartened by it. I was surprised. I suppose I was not expecting that from the Vincentian. I have to also, and I'm not even just necessarily putting it on the editor, although yes, the buck does stop. The editor. The buck does stop at the editor, but even whoever, well, the author of the reporter.
Nope, that's not how it works.
So who put the picture?
That is not how it works. That is not how it works. Well, the person who is doing the layout They are the ones that add the picture to the story, unless the
Or the
journalist
reporter does that,
himself
right.
add the story, does the layout for the paper. And I highly doubt that journalist did the layout for that. It still is up to the editor
Right.
to approve or disapprove the page.
I agree. The buck does stop at the editor, but what I'm saying is that the editor himself would not have sourced the image, right? More than likely would not have been the editor to source the image. So whoever sourced the image, placed the image, and gave the okay for it to be printed, those persons, whether it's 2 or 3 persons involved, I put all of them in the same category at being at fault for having the picture there on display.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Right?
I won't do that.
The difference of opinions.
It's being realistic. Whoever it is that did the layout, they could have put anything they wanted on that page. The editor is the person who decides to remove or to add or to leave it as it is. They could have put a picture of a birthday. It doesn't matter. The editor is the person who gave the go-ahead for it to go to print.
But what I'm saying, Ari, right, and not to belabor this part of it, what I'm saying is that you yourself as a reporter, right, let's say you decided to put the picture to accompany the article. You yourself would have stopped and thought that this isn't okay, right? But what I'm saying is that if it's just 1 person, 2 persons, or 3 individuals, with the buck stopping at the editor, all of those persons I placed together in the same category. I'm just not using common sense.
Can't do that.
All right.
Cannot place them in the same category. But yeah, moving forward, I cannot understand. I cannot understand where Connell was going with this, or what he was trying to point out. If he's trying to suggest that because commentary was made, the person was arrested.
Or is it going to sway or influence the decision in terms of what's going to happen with her? I'm wondering if that's what he meant.
But his client pleaded guilty.
And the video evidence is there. So regardless of what our commentary is, as a society, it really shouldn't matter.
His client pleaded guilty. It is now up to the magistrate to hand down sentencing. Not the radio stations handing down sentencing. The radio station are going by sentencing procedures and deciding how long his client should be in prison. The client pleaded guilty to the case.
And then it makes me wonder too. So is it that he's inferring it to some extent that radio announcers should be mindful of what they discuss? Because if that's the case,
mindful of what they discuss.
No, but if that's the case, is it necessarily going to influence, or in his opinion, influence certain cases? I mean, the thing of it is that if something has been drawn to national attention, radio announcers or persons involved in social commentary, they can go right ahead and do that. So, I as I said before, I am not understanding it.
And if it is that he's suggesting, like in PIs, where they ask reporters not to report on what happens in a PI because they could influence the actual court case, that I would have understood. But if he has an issue with the fact that the person was arrested after it was brought to public attention, I still don't see the problem there. It's the same way that this lady went live and brought attention to a child being abused by the police. Or are you saying that it's her fault that the police are now being investigated? I don't understand. I don't understand what he's trying to suggest.
Yeah.
Someone asked who paid for the image of the child. We don't know if the person paid. It could be social media. They just took the image off of social media. I don't know that. Okay. So yeah. Moving forward, it's important to note that former parliamentarian Conrad Sayers was laid to rest yesterday. So there's a story here on the Searchlight newspaper. Former member of parliament for Central Kingston, Conrad Sayers, was laid to rest yesterday, Monday, January 29, 2024, following a funeral service at the Kingston Baptist Church. And many who attended his funeral described Sayers as a man of the Lord. Excuse me. The funeral service was preceded by tributes from former parliamentary colleagues and other mourners as the body lay for public viewing in the temporary parliament building at Kalekwa. Presenting the eulogy on behalf of Sayers' best friend, Bishop Amos Denny, was his daughter, Sheridan Denny Edwards, who shared the many memories made by the duo. Conrad was a hard worker with a love for God that he served with unwavering passion, Denny Edwards said. She said her father and Sayers both decided to become members of the Kingston Evangelical Church at the same time, and they were part of various teams, and they ultimately became best friends. So the Prime Minister did an open tribute, and representatives of the online engagement for the Kingdom Impact, OEKI, Al Davy, and violinist Samuel Toker paid tribute as well. Prime Minister reminisced about the time Sayers became involved in active party politics. He said that Sayers retired early from the public service and at the age of 52 to contest the Central Kingston seat in 2001 for the Unity Labour Party, ULP. And he said Sayers also won against veteran trade unionist Joseph Bones Bonady, who was running then for the NDP, and Conrad defeated him. Prime Minister also recounted that Sayers also defeated Sinclair Major Leacock in 2005. This was a funeral or boasting, boy. However, Leacock later won the seat, not defeating Sayers, who only served 2 terms. But yeah, so you have to give respect to those who had their part to play in the implementation of our policies and laws in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I don't know if it's in the new generation coming up, but I knew growing up, you heard the name Conrad Sayers a lot on the streets, in the media. He was quite a popular person.
Yeah, well, I mean, I personally didn't know him. I didn't know that much about him. I'd be very, very honest. But anybody who has served in various capacities, you can still call them nation builders, even though let's say they did not get to the levels of, let's say, a prime minister, right? But he has served as a parliamentarian, etc. So he has played his part in building nation, building individuals. So condolences to his family and friends and all those who are saddened at his passing.
All right, the time is now 8:29, soon to be 8:30. We'll take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back shortly with Activated Mornings.
Along the way, helping you to drive competitive advantages. At Lynch Caribbean, we have your back. Contact us today for insurance solutions, strategic risk advisory, and more. Call 453-3300. Email info@lynchcaribbean.com or visit our office in Beachmont, Kingstown. Follow Lynch Caribbean SVG on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or visit www.lynchcaribbean.com. Ready, set, serve. Singer, your favorite family store is now online. Log on today at www.singersvg.com and enjoy our store and products right at your fingertips. Now online are your trusted brands that you have come to love. Refrigerators to chest freezers, gas cookers to toasters, air fryers, mattresses, living room sets, and so much more. Browse our products, check the specs, compare brands and prices, and request parts all online. We have also made bill payments easier, more convenient, and simpler just for you. Log on to www.singersvg.com to learn more. Singer, your family company is keeping up with you and the times. Visit our website today and experience a whole new world of Singer, your trusted online family company.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And we're back with Activated Mornings this morning. The time is now 8:33 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we're discussing now sexual violence in SVG. Sorry. So there's a story on Eyewitness News. I read sexual violence in SVG. Baffles SVG top cop. So it reads, Acting Commissioner of Police, Enville Williams, says sexual violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to baffle him. When you look at the reports daily throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sexual offenses continue to increase at an alarming rate. And very often the victims get younger and younger and younger. He said in Georgetown on Friday during the launch of the branch of the Sexual Offenses Unit in that northeastern town. It tells me that we have a situation that needs to be addressed and must be addressed right now and not tomorrow, the police chief said. Data released by the police this month show that in 2022, police received reports of 7 cases of attempted unlawful sexual intercourse, 57 cases of unlawful sexual intercourse, 4 cases of attempted rape, 32 cases of rape, and 85 cases of indecent assault. No comparative data was released. The Sexual Offenses Unit is headquartered in Kittels, and Williams recognized the foresight of retired Commissioner of Police Colin John, who is now senior magistrate, in setting up a branch in Georgetown. The Georgetown branch began operating in September 2023 while John was on pre-retirement leave. Williams said that with the Georgetown branch of the unit, the response of the police will be almost immediate. He said that the police force will continue to treat sexual violence with great urgency and seriousness. He referred to the exhortation delivered by Pastor Shakika Fraser, which was based on 2 Samuel 13, which recounts the story of Ammon raping his half-sister Tamar. Then Tamar's brother Absalom murdered Ammon in retaliation. Fraser told the rally that sexual assault destroys families and people's lives. Williams summarized the preacher's messages as no means no. The police chief said that 2 Samuel 2:12 captures a theme as it relates to sexual offenses. In that verse, as Ammon initiates his assault on his half-sister Tamar, pleads with him to stop by telling him, "No, my brother, don't force me. Such a thing should not be done in Israel. Don't do this wicked thing." Williams encouraged people to hear or see something to report it speedily to the police so that action can be taken. The acting commissioner of police also implored the young boys and girls who might have that secret you want to tell to find someone you can trust, such as a teacher. We have your backs. The Royal Civil and Grenadines Police Force will fight for you who cannot fight for themselves. Meanwhile, Divisional Commander of Eastern Division of the Police Force, Superintendent of Police Hezron Ballantyne, told Eyewitness News that he welcomes the branch of Sexual Offences Unit in the division. Ballantyne said he looked forward to the team mentoring and reaching more people, more so the youth, so that they can carry out their mandates. He restated his commitment to support the functions and operations of the department to effectively and speedily apprehend and prosecute offenders, whilst educating the public in an effort to reduce and eliminate offenses of a sexual nature against children. So, what are your thoughts, Roleza?
Well, I suppose I'm not, and I just realized somebody on the live also asked a question. I was curious about the headline in terms of stating that it's baffling. I don't know. I think I'm not understanding why it's baffling. In terms of crimes of a sexual nature, why would it be baffling? I think rape and all these things have been on the earth for maybe as long as the earth has been around, as we noticed references drawn to the Bible and incidents in the Bible. I think one of the things has to do with, and I did ask a question in an episode of Cop Chat. What edition was that? I can't remember what exactly the topic was. But I did ask a question for persons who find themselves behind bars on account of a charge of a sexual nature. What methods of rehabilitation, what sort of counseling do they normally get behind bars? Because I don't know if they just think that it's an act that they've committed. Do persons who commit such an act realize the damage, the long-term damage that they can actually do to individuals? And I'm going to say individuals because rape can also happen, or sexual assaults or sexual incidents can also happen to both genders, right? I think from that vantage point, I would like to know what happens there. I also probably would like to know this, just the curiosity getting the better of me, the statistics in relation to how many of these cases are prosecuted in terms of how many are reported and how many are actually successfully prosecuted. As I once told Ari when we initially started, there are two categories of persons who I don't have sympathy for, which would be thieves and rapists, and that position still maintains because anyone who commits a sexual act against somebody, in my opinion, you are robbing them of their soul. And when someone loses their soul, I think for the most part, all hope is lost, right? So I just wish, number one, that it would not happen, that it would stop. Crimes of any sexual nature would stop. But more importantly, I suppose, well, no, not more importantly. Along with that, what I would like to see is severe prosecution of persons who commit such an act.
Okay, I don't understand where the confusion came with him saying he's baffled. He pointed out that the reports are increasing. I think that's what he's saying. What baffles him is how much the reports continue to increase. I don't think he's baffled that it's happening. I think he's baffled that it
okay. Well, I probably missed that. I think it's the headline that kind of threw me off. Okay, so I probably missed that. Yeah.
Sexual violence in SVG Baffles top cop. And he went on to say, when you look at the reports daily, throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sexual offenses continue to increase at an alarming rate, and very often the victims get younger and younger. Right. I took from that is he doesn't understand why alarming rate and why the young people are the ones doing it. That's what I took from it, at least.
All right, I already asked it very quickly last night. And, so okay.
No, you're not. It's not not an attack on you. Other people on the live are saying why is he baffled and whatever. So.
Yeah.
All right. Someone here on WhatsApp says sexual violence surprise really in a society that see women as second-class citizens. This has been going on from the beginning of time, and he is now surprised. See again?
It says it wasn't me alone, and I didn't read it too fast. Okay, all right. All right.
I don't know. Wait, that's the thing about being a public figure. You have to really dot your I's and cross your T's and dot your I's.
Yeah, I think because I read the article very quickly, and the headline I think threw me off initially. So which was why when I read through it, I didn't digest it the same way in which that you did. So fair enough.
But what I'm curious is, where does statutory rape fall in these statistics? And I would really like to see the percentages, or at least the numbers, as it relates to male and female. How many male victims, how many female victims do you see? Because in the 2022 report, it says 57 cases of unlawful sexual intercourse, 4 cases of attempted rape, 32 cases of rape, 85 cases of indecent assault. And a friend of mine actually drew to my attention this week that while rape can happen in marriage legally here in Simmons and the Grenadines, it cannot happen in St. Lucia. So I wonder if that means that, and I think not just St. Lucia, Trinidad, I wonder if that means that the way both our different Caribbean societies view rape could be a lot different. But I do applaud the launch of a sexual offences unit. I do believe that it should be in more of the rural communities as well, or that they should be doing patrols or outreach programs to encourage persons to make reports, because rape is not usually a stranger meeting you in an alley. It is usually people that you know, people that you see every day, sometimes your family members, sometimes persons that you think is respectable. It could come from any which way and in any shape and form. And it's very important that units such as these are launched, in my opinion.
Yeah. As you speak here, and I was supposed to look for it last night, I was trying to find what's the difference between unlawful sexual intercourse and rape. All right, so the definition is, well, one definition I'm seeing, unlawful sexual intercourse that happens, sexual intercourse that occurs in any of these intercourse, including, yeah, I think I probably need to get what the actual definition of unlawful sexual intercourse is as opposed to rape, because I noticed that it's listed there separately in the article in terms of the stats. So maybe somebody listening, if you have it, if you're part of the legal system here in SVG, just for my curiosity, to tell me what the difference is in between those two offenses. Ari,
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So the number to call is 457-9997. If you could just inform me of the difference in those two areas. As Ari is speaking about the thing of rape, and he does make a valid point in terms of many of the times, the statistics go, or as has been said, many of the times that persons who actually rape persons,
Okay.
You find it?
It seems that unlawful sexual intercourse often is statutory rape.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems that might be it.
Okay.
All
right. So one of the things is that persons who commit the act are generally known to the victim, or some persons don't like to use the word victim, the survivors. And that's the thing, when you have to listen to that or to hear those, or it's being persons who they actually know, one of the questions that comes to mind, and one of the points that is generally always stated is many of these cases go unreported, simply for the fact that because they're so known to the victim, or because they are persons who, let's say, maybe have a particular standing within society, or even sometimes in instances where the quote-unquote victim/survivor, they may think that they did something to influence or to cause whatever it is has happened. So even though we have these stats here, I want to think that to a significant degree, a lot of the cases actually go unreported. And even Ari was asking the question regarding statutory rape. What are the statistics in relation to that? And it also would all go back to one of the conversations that we had very earlier in terms of this whole age of consent matter. We're still, or I'm still advocating for it to be raised to the age of 18. Let everything line up with being an adult. But it's the education needs to be out there. As one of the persons indicated, you cannot mention, not necessarily view women as sexual beings or sexual objects are constantly objectified. It also has to go back to a matter of respect. Do you respect women on a whole? Do you respect children on a whole?
Will this unit be functional or just a group of people in an office writing reports on what happens instead of dealing with the perpetrators of the rape? Question I have is, would it matter who the rapist is?
In terms of what?
Status?
You mean as a person coming forward, a victim?
No.
What?
I mean the person committing the act of rape. Would it matter who the accused person is? Because in a lot of these cases, when people have certain standings in society, people tend to look the other way. I remember I was speaking with a friend of mine and they were telling me that when they were 18 or 17 years old, a popular politician here saw them at a bar and was buying drinks, trying to hit on them, etc., and that is not uncommon. What I don't understand is how me in my old age could look on a teenager and think. Anyways,
your mindset is different, Ari.
That's
Your mindset is completely different. What for you would not even enter your mind. It enters some others' minds so easily. And they prey on the younger ones. They prey on the young, the naive. You also have to look at instances where children in growing up, they may not have come from loving homes, and the person who steps to you proclaiming love or seemingly professing love, they gravitate towards that person. They find themselves in a compromising position with that person, not necessarily mean for it to go further, and they end up being raped or sexually assaulted.
And I do think that people tend to discount a lot that it's not one sex that are victims in this, because I do not know where it came from, but it seems that a lot of people believe that, okay, if it's a man, then it's playful or there's nothing wrong with it.
It's playful?
If I in my old age was to see a girl, let's say between 6 and 10, and say, yeah, that's my girlfriend, people are going to be like, what kind of weird, nasty stuff you getting on? But when grown women say, oh, that's my little boyfriend, it's cute. It's cute.
Oh.
And then, no, it don't have to be cougars, right? But it could just, in society, statements like that. You look at it as, oh, she's just joking, it's cute, she's just saying. But if it was if the tables were turned, that man would be looked at as a predator for making the same quote unquote joke.
Okay.
Also, I do think that men themselves discount assault. I remember.
Oh, they're embarrassed to do it too.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with embarrassment. I remember speaking of embarrassment, the way that law enforcement handles any type of assault, whether it's physical or sexual, towards men, also speaks volumes, because there's always a joke. Oh, this man say he woman beat him up, haha, joke. Oh, this man saying they want me he or something. That's usually how it goes. I remember when I was in Taiwan, a South African girl took an umbrella and poked me in my private part. I don't know this girl, never seen this girl before, never had conversations with this girl before. And I remember when I was telling my friends, they were like, oh, you vexed for the girl shooting, she shot.
She poked a shot.
See? Now imagine, you see, and you chuckle, and if it was a man who did that, you would be furious in the studio. Why would that man do that?
Yeah, but Ari, okay, so because I've heard you tell the story before is why I chuckle, because I heard it already, but I'm not chuckling because it's okay.
No, I ain't saying you say it's okay. I'm saying the attitude is different.
What did you do at that point in time as well, though?
I hit her with the umbrella.
Mm.
I was considering making a police report, and everybody around me seemed to think it's a minor issue. I didn't think it was a minor issue. All right, we have a call coming in. Good morning, caller.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, I'm in agreement with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, I'd just like to say that we have no proof that the Prime Minister or anybody has conducted themselves in that way, but there are a number of stories of persons with influence that where people afraid to come out and where, okay, caller, your life. I'm fine, morning, Kenton. How are you?
Morning, Canton. You see, and Kenton and I chuckled there, and Ari was ready to.
Nah.
Okay. No problem.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. 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 Or charges.
Other elements are at play in that case. But the society too often takes a lenient stance when women commit offenses, and then everyone, if it's a man, people say that you should throw the book at them. I mean, if an offense is committed, you look at the offense, you look at the circumstances. Yes, I know that the law says that each case must be taken on its merit, but I think too often we as a society, when a man commits an offense, the attitude is totally different from when a woman commits the offense.
Kenton,
that's essential. Yeah.
we were having some technical difficulties on the live, so those on the live weren't able to hear what you had just said. Do you mind summarizing?
I suspected so because I was hearing myself a while. I was just simply saying that the attitude of the society towards people based on who commits the offense, we need to change it because we can't just take a sympathetic stance towards an offender simply because she is female. Sometimes I sit in court and, a woman commits an offense and the magistrate just reprimand, don't do it again. And go again. And then if a man comes and he commits the same offense, the circumstances are the same. He's either bonded or fined or something like that. And I mean, yes, men more often commit crime in the society. But then when you look at the case on the merit and forget about the sex of the offender and just, pass on your sentence based on that. Yeah. And that is not to ignore the fact that there are certain things that affect women that don't or might not necessarily affect men. For instance, postpartum depression.
Right.
A man can't use that as a defense. A woman can. And yes, that might factor into a case with a woman where it might not factor into with a man. But all those things aside, we should apply the law evenly.
Kenton, I have a question while you're here. When is the last time, based on your records, that someone was charged with buggery?
With buggery?
Yes.
There was a case, I think, last year in the last assizes. I don't know if it was full buggery or attempted buggery, but a man was sentenced last year for buggery.
Okay.
Buggery of a child.
Okay.
Which, if we had the requisite law, it would simply be rape.
Yeah.
And that man would be facing like 30 years in jail.
Yeah.
The same statutory.
But because we don't have the law, I mean, it's ridiculous. In the year 2023, you're going to talk about buggery? I mean, we still in this thing where we want to pretend that men don't have sex with men, and men are involved in consensual relationship in the same way that men and women are involved in relationships, and women are involved in relationships. I mean, as a Christian, a practicing Christian, my religion tells me something about that, but my understanding of my religion also tells me that there's some things that I leave to God and let God judge, and then, like for instance, I don't think we should be judges of morality. So
now the reason why I asked, right? Yeah, the reason why I asked is the last time I remember somebody being charged with buggery was Veron Primus. And while I do agree that the law should be amended to state rape when a man penetrates another man, I do believe that buggery is necessary. The buggery law is necessary because you still would be able to charge men or women who penetrate men or women. So I do think
you just call it rape. It's a sexual act.
You know what I think? If we're going by society and what we consider to be societal norms and morality and what we accept and we don't accept, if we just call anal penetration rape, then it's almost as if we're giving life to it as the norm.
But some people engage in that
that's where we split hairs, Ari, because I think, right, what two consenting adults do in privacy is their business.
And some people engage in that.
I agree with it or I don't agree with it. That's their business, and they have a right to do it.
Okay.
I mean, I happen to be married, and once I'm in the privacy of my home, I do whatever I want with my wife once she consents to it. So why should I be bothered with what my neighbor's doing in their house?
All right, I get your point. I get your point.
We protect children, we protect the vulnerable, and we leave the rest to morality.
Yeah.
Well, to God.
We don't want moral policing in civil underground.
Yep.
I'm kind of worried here because
You have another question? Why
no,
here again?
I get in a little older. You mind sharing the live that the lady went on with the police beating the child with me, please? Thank you.
Oh, the link?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that now.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for your
No
contribution
problem.
this
Take care,
morning.
folks.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
Kenton. Bye.
But yeah,
No, but you know what, Ari, to some extent, because I know that we had another topic that we wanted to touch on. And although I saw it last week, I was like, I'm just so tired of talking about these things. And I know talking about them does not make the situation go away. Maybe this is what needs to happen, where we constantly talk about it. Like how we constantly talk about the van drivers and the van culture situation. It's almost like every week it comes up, or every month or whatever, But to have to be talking about these things repeatedly and yet nothing is happening, it wears my soul down.
I can't say nothing is happening if they opening another offense in Georgetown. I guess we have to give it time to see if more and more persons will be charged, or if it would deter the opening of more of these units, would deter people from committing these acts.
I think it's, for me, I just want to see stiffer penalties, stiffer sentences. That's what I want to see. Right?
Irony.
That's what I want to see. It did slip me. Do not think that it slipped me. That is what I want to see.
So I want to read this quickly before we go to commercial break. Sandy Bayman was on Wednesday, that's last week, remanded to prison to await his February 29th sentencing for the raping. Should have been sentenced yesterday then. Need to check an update on that. A raping a 10-year-old girl when he was 19 years old. A 9-member mixed jury deliberated for exactly 2 hours at the High Court No. 1 in Kingston on Wednesday before returning guilty verdicts on all 3 charges against the man Arian May, aka Baffroy. Justice Richard Floyd ordered that a social inquiry report be prepared ahead of the sentencing. He also granted Counsel Maria Jackson Richards' application that May be remanded into custody pending sentencing. May was unrepresented during the trial, but the court assigned Counsel Carl Williams to cross-examine the virtual complainant. The virtual complainant in sexual offences matters is not allowed to directly cross-examine the virtual complainant. The defendant, in sexual offences matters is not allowed to directly cross-examine the virtual complainant. May was convicted of 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a girl under the age of 13 years, so it's statutory, and 1 count of attempted unlawful sexual intercourse with a girl under the age of 13. He was found guilty of the charge on a date unknown between September 30th and 2018 and January 1st, 2019 at Magnum Sandy Bay with the intent to commit the offense of unlawful sexual intercourse with a girl under... Okay, well, we get the point. He faces a maximum of life imprisonment, a notional sentence of 30 years. And that is why, that is a comment I was trying to stray away from saying. That is why I do feel like it being in Georgetown, closer to certain areas, that it should assist or at least deter, because it happens a lot in rural areas where people think that these things are the norm and they tend to accept them more. But I'm glad to hear that
sweep them under the rug.
Sweep them under the rug. Because people always complain that you know who these people are, but you don't comment on whoever they are. Now, we're going to break now and we'll be back at 9:20.
No, 9:20 we have an interview. Are we supposed to have
I was just about to say that.
Oh, okay.
We'll be back at 9:20 where we have an interview. So unfortunately, this is where the conversation has to end. But if necessary, we will continue it tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of persons have a lot to say on this particular topic. But we are now going to break.
WEFM.